raise your sales tax?
No.
Do you give your consent to government to raise your property tax?
No.
Do you give your consent to government to raise your gasoline tax?
No.
Good for you. That was the answer I was looking for. So, just a couple more speakers to go. I listened to a lawyer speak at a luncheon a couple of weeks ago. He said he'd addressed the law students at either Stanford or Harvard, I forget. He asked these law students, how many of you have taken a class in constitutional law? Every hand went up. He asked them a second question, how many of you, in taking that class in constitutional law, were required to read the Federalist Papers? Not a single hand went up. One of the students came up to him afterwards and said, Jeff, you asked the wrong question. He said, you should have asked those students in your constitutional law class, how many of you were required to read the Constitution? And he said, you wouldn't get any show of hands on that either. Well, our next speaker has in fact read the Constitution, and he's read the 10th Amendment, which says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. And he sponsored a joint memorial to express that sense of the Idaho legislature to our congressional delegation. Will you please welcome Representative Dick Harwood. Whoa, what a great crowd. God bless you. God bless America. You know what? It wasn't just me that did the 10th Amendment. There was about 5 or 6 of us that had a 10th Amendment. And what we did was we all got together and worked on them. We took some of mine. We took some of Lenore's. Let's see. Marv Hagedorn was there. Judy Boyle was there. And we took and we took them bills that we had and put them all together and made one bill out of it. We took some of our out of our Constitution of the state of Idaho and stuck in there as well. What a great bill that turned out to be, and great support it had. This just overwhelms me how many folks are out here today. This is a great turnout. God bless you guys. You know, one of the things that I said during my debate was that the federal government came in and said we had to do, it was House Bill 147, had to do with licensing of commercial licensing of your trucks and cars. And they said we have to comply with their regulations, or their federal regulations, and if we did not comply, we would lose $6.5 million this year. And if we did not comply by next year, we would lose $13 million. And the way that the economy is right now and the way that our transportation thing is, the legislators held their nose and voted for that. But I want to tell you that the Governor Otter over here in the border building did not sign that bill. And he realized that we had to have that money, so he let it go into effect without signing. But he wrote us a nice letter in response to that bill and said he was tired of the federal government putting their foot on our neck and making us do them kind of things that we have to do in order to survive. And I'll tell you what, that blessed my heart to have the governor of this state do that. It also, one other thing that I mentioned in my debate on that was that the federal government put in the provision of no child left behind, and they did not fund that money at all. And so I mentioned that in there, and there was some other things that we've done that the federal government has enacted that they don't pay for. And my son called me up a couple days later and said, hey Dad, he said, I got a great idea. He said, let's send next year do a bill and send it back to Congress, no congressman left behind. And I says, well, what do you mean, Trav? And he says, well, he said, if we do a no congressman left behind, we'd make them read the Constitution and take a bill or take a test on it, and if they didn't pass it, they didn't get a paycheck.
And anyway, I just want to tell you how great it is to see all you folks here and supporting this motion and this movement. And I praise God for the state of Idaho and for America.
Thank you, Representative Dick Harwood. Okay, two more speakers, and then we're going to be done, so be patient with us for just a few more minutes, and then we'll be done.